Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Supergirl Remy, and today I'm going to show you some stretches and exercises for low back pain. So let's get started.
Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert.
For these stretches and exercises for the low back pain, you can do them on a couch, you can do them on a bed, you can do them on the floor. Most of them will be lying down, but one of the exercises at the end, we're going to get over onto all fours. I like to start with stretches first just because you can lengthen out the muscles, get them nice and stretched, and then go into the exercises after they're lengthened. Some people will tell you different. That's just my personal preference of what I like. Also with a pillow, I'm using a pillow just because it's easier for me to see you better. You really usually want your neck in a neutral position. I like having the pillow. Sometimes the angle makes it look like I'm in a different position, but I'm in a pretty neutral position, but you don't have to use a pillow. A lot of times people have different opinions on that as well. So the first one we're going to go into for a stretch is a pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilts can also be exercises, but I like them as stretches. So with a pelvic tilt, it's kind of like it sounds. You're tilting that pelvis. This is going to be a posterior pelvic tilt. So bringing up your knees, propping them up and having your knees and your hips in about alignment, just into that comfortable position. So all you're doing is just like it sounds, tilting that pelvis back. You're trying to flatten out your back into whatever you're lying down on, the bed, the couch, or the floor. But the key is not to use your feet. So I'm not pushing my back into the couch here. I'm rotating my pelvis back. You want to work those lower back muscles. That's kind of the point of stretching everything out and working those muscles. So I'm rotating here. I'm talking while I'm doing it. I'm using those core muscles, those pelvic muscles, not using my legs. Eventually, you want to really get to a point where you can hold it easily for 3 to 5 seconds. You can work it up a little bit higher. But if you just need to start off with 1 to 2 seconds, that's fine. You can do that as well. The next one is going to be just a simple knee to chest stretch. Again, it's just like it sounds. They're usually named of what you're doing. So a knee to chest, still keeping those knees propped up. You're going to bring one knee towards your chest. If you don't have any knee issues, you can grab around the outside. Sometimes that gives people a better pull. If you have some knee issues, you can grab underneath so then you're not putting so much pressure on your knee. Try and bring that leg up into a straight line. So sometimes I'll see some of my patients kind of go out to the outside because a lot of times that will take that pinching away from the hip if you have a little bit of hip issues. But really try and bring it straight up because that's what's going to get that low back stretch in there. If I'm bringing it out this way, I'm taking away from that stretch a little bit. So just come to comfort level. Again, if you're getting that little pinching, don't push through that pain, just kind of go up to that pain. And this is going to be a full 30-second hold. So you're holding that stretch there and then relaxing back down. Then you're going to go to the other side. I'm just going to kind of come up and stretch and hold it there. If you want to get a little bit of a hip flexor stretch while you're doing it, you can slide that leg down. So now I'm getting a stretch right here. Some people like this way, stretching it a little bit better. That's completely up to you. Sometimes I like doing that to get my hip flexor stretched out a little bit. So for 30 seconds, that's going to be the hold, and then you're going to do 3 on each side. So then the next one is just going to be a simple trunk rotation stretch. So now you're going to bring your knees and your feet together, just so they can kind of lay on top of each other. Then all you're going to do is kind of like it sounds, you're going to rotate those knees over to get some rotation in your trunk. Your hips can come up, but you want to keep your shoulders down. You don't want that opposite shoulder coming up because then that's going to take away from the stretch. Just again, go to comfort level, and then you're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. And then as you come back up, then you're going to alternate to the other side and hold that 30 seconds. If you want to follow along in a real-time video where I'm actually going through the whole time of the stretches and exercises, I have a whole bunch of real-time videos, and you can click on that link up there to check those out. And so now we're going to go into the exercises. We've gotten everything nice and stretched out, and so now we're going to work those muscles. So for the first exercise, it's going to be bridges. Again, bridges is one of my favorites because it works a whole lot of those muscles. It works the glutes, it works the hamstrings, it really works that pelvic area. So it strengthens and loosens everything up. So again, go back into where your knees and your hips are kind of in alignment with your knees propped up. So with a bridge, you really want to kind of roll up as you go. If you're just kind of going up and down like this, then you're using momentum and you're not really using those muscles to work. You don't have to stop at each segment of your spine, but that's kind of what I tell people, you know, roll up where you're kind of rolling at each segment of the spine to really kind of work everything out and go slow and work those muscles. So I'm just kind of rolling up as I come, and then come into a straight line if you can. If you can't, you can only come to about right here, that's okay. But the key is you should never have pressure on your neck. Sometimes people are saying, you know, they feel the pressure in their neck. That means you're probably trying to go up too high and arch. Now see how that gets some pressure on my neck. But now I'm trying to arch my back, and that's not what we're doing. We're just coming up into a straight line. If you're going into extension, you're not doing the bridge quite right. So you should feel, the weight should go at your shoulder area. It should never go into your neck. So just rolling up, little pause at the top, you don't have to hold, and then rolling back down. So again, if you want to watch some of those real-time videos and go through, you can do that as well. So then the next one is going to be a dead bug. So the dead bug exercise, this one's going to be a little bit modified. You might see some that are a little bit harder. This is just a great way to start. So the dead bug is just, if you imagine a dead bug kind of as it's dying, lying on its back, moving its arms and legs, that's kind of why it's called that. But this first step of the dead bug exercise is to go into that pelvic tilt that we did at the beginning. So not using the legs, but really just rotating that pelvis back. This time you're going to try and hold that tilt. So this is something you might have to work up to. Holding that tilt in place, but you know you're not going to be able to use your legs, because this time with the dead bug, you're going to lift that leg up a little bit and then do the opposite arm as you lift it up. So I'm bringing both of these up, but I'm keeping that pelvic tilt the whole time. And then I'm coming back down. If you need to reset that pelvic tilt each time, that's fine, but eventually you want to be able to hold that tilt and then alternate back and forth. So now I'm lifting this one up, and I'm bringing this arm up. The distance doesn't really matter. You can see I'm just bringing my arm up a little bit. You can go all the way back if you want to. You can bring your leg all the way up if you want to. But the key is to hold that pelvic tilt. So if you can't come all the way up and hold that tilt, then modify it a little bit and just start off with a little bit less with each movement. So the next one, we're going to get onto all fours, and we're going to go into a bird dog exercise. So the bird dog is kind of like the dead bug, but now you're flipped over and you're working different exercises, because now your arms and your knees have something to push against. So it's more of a stability exercise now. So with the bird dog, you want to try and keep your back flat. So you don't want to be arched down, you don't want to be arched back. You want to try and kind of keep it in that neutral position, which is sometimes a little bit harder on a squishier surface. So, really try and find a spot that is comfortable for you. You can also modify this a little bit by just starting off with the legs where you're kicking out. But the key with this one is, again, you're not rolling and kicking. You want to keep that back flat. Imagine that maybe there's a cup of water on your back and you don't want to spill the cup. So once you get that leg kick out and you're comfortable keeping it in that nice neutral position, then add your arm to get that kick, and then come back in and then alternate sides. So just like that dog is pointing towards the bird, there's the birds. So that's why it's called that bird dog. Oh, yeah! So there you have it. Those were some of my favorite stretches and exercises for low back pain. If you'd like to check out some other videos, click up there, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.